Isn't it strange how a single person can live in your mind rent-free? How their absence feels heavier than their presence ever did. You try to distract yourself, to keep busy, to move on, but their memory lingers like a shadow you can't shake. If you're here, you probably know that pain all too well. The ache of holding on to someone who has already walked away. Maybe they were a lover, a friend, or someone you never truly had. Yet they occupy your heart like a haunting melody you can't stop replaying. If you can't stop thinking about someone who's no longer in your life, remember this: your mind is holding on to an illusion, not the person. The Stoics taught us that true freedom comes not from clinging, but from letting go. They too knew heartbreak, loss, and longing, and through their wisdom they discovered powerful ways to let go without bitterness, to love without clinging, and to reclaim their peace of mind. This video isn't about getting over it overnight or pretending you don't care. It's about learning how to let go with dignity, to stop being a prisoner of your own thoughts, and to walk forward with your head held high. In the next few minutes, I'll share 9 Stoic rules that will help you free yourself from the grip of someone you can't stop thinking about. These aren't just ancient theories, they are practical truths that can change the way you see yourself, love others, and handle heartbreak. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin this journey toward peace. Rule 1. Accept the impermanence of all things. Everything we see is changing. You yourself are in ceaseless change, and so is the whole universe. Marcus Aurelius. The first rule of letting go is to accept that nothing and no one is permanent. The person you're holding on to, they too are a passing part of your journey. The Stoics believed that clinging to what is transient creates suffering. When you realize that everything changes, seasons, people, relationships, you stop asking why it ended and start asking, how can I live with dignity in this moment of change? Here's a practice. Visualize the relationship as a river. You stood together for a while in the same stream, but now they've drifted to another part of the current. You cannot pull them back. The river moves forward, and so must you. Instead of resenting impermanence, embrace it as life's teacher, because without endings there can be no new beginnings. Rule 2. Distinguish between what's in your control and what's not. Some things are in our control and others not. Epictetus. You cannot control whether someone loves you back. You cannot control whether they stay or leave. But you can control your response, your focus, and your inner strength. The Stoics remind us that peace comes from focusing only on what is truly ours, our thoughts, actions, and choices. So ask yourself, are you spending your energy trying to rewrite a story that's already ended? Or are you investing in what you can control, your healing, your growth, your future? Here's a mental exercise. Write down 2 columns. In one, list everything about this person and the relationship that's outside your control. In the other, list what's in your control, your routines, your health, your learning, your friendships. Then commit to feeding only the second column. By practicing this distinction daily, you free yourself from the illusion that your happiness depends on someone else. Rule 3. See attachment as a form of slavery. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus. Attachment feels sweet at first, but when it turns into obsession, it enslaves you. The Stoics saw unhealthy attachment as chains binding the soul. Imagine you're gripping a rope tied to a moving cart. The harder you hold, the more you're dragged. The only way to stop the pain is to let go. This doesn't mean you should never love. Stoicism isn't about coldness, it's about clarity. You can care for someone deeply, but the moment that care becomes dependence, you lose your freedom. So reflect, are your thoughts of this person nourishing you, or are they chains pulling you down? Freedom begins when you answer honestly. Rule 4. Remember that pain is not evil. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Marcus Aurelius. Pain feels unbearable, but the Stoics taught us that pain itself is not evil. It's our interpretation that makes it so. You suffer not because the person left, but because you keep telling yourself the story that you cannot live without them. Try reframing the pain. Instead of seeing it as punishment, see it as training. The Stoics compared life's struggles to the exercises of an athlete. Every tear, every sleepless night, every pang of longing is a weight you are lifting, and with each repetition, you are growing stronger. When you shift your perspective, pain transforms from an enemy into a mentor. Rule 5. Shift desire from others to virtue. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. When you desire someone who doesn't belong in your life, you hand them power over your soul. The Stoics suggest redirecting that desire, not towards people, but towards virtue. Ask yourself, instead of longing for their presence, what if I longed for wisdom, for courage, for resilience? Channel your energy into becoming the kind of person who doesn't beg for love, but who embodies such strength and dignity that love naturally follows. Every time your mind drifts to this person, redirect it to a Stoic virtue. Replace "why aren't they here" with "how can I practice patience right now?" Replace "I miss them" with "I will strengthen my character." This shift transforms longing into empowerment. Rule 6. Remember the shortness of life. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. Life is short, time is slipping away. One day, you and the person you're thinking about will both be gone. From the Stoic view, obsessing over someone who isn't part of your life is not just painful, it's a waste of the little time you have. Instead of spending hours reliving old memories, imagine yourself on your deathbed. What would you regret more, having lived courageously and moved forward, or having wasted precious years clinging to the past? This exercise, called memento mori, sharpens your perspective. You realize that heartbreak, while sharp, is small compared to the vastness of life. Time is too precious to live in chains. Rule 7. Reframe love as shared time, not ownership. Never say of anything, "I lost it," but say, "I gave it back." Epictetus. The person you miss was never yours to own. You didn't lose them, you simply shared time with them, and now that time has passed. This reframe removes bitterness. Instead of resenting the end, you honor the moments you had. Gratitude replaces grief. Try this. Write a letter to the person, not to send, but to thank them. Thank them for the lessons, for the laughter, even for the pain. By doing this, you release them with dignity. Love is not possession. Love is shared existence. Rule 8. Focus on building a life worth living. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. The best way to let go of someone is not to sit in sorrow, but to build a life so rich and fulfilling that their absence loses weight. Redirect your energy into purpose. Start a new routine. Pick up a practice you've long delayed. Reconnect with friends. Pursue your health. Embody the philosophy you admire. The more you invest in your present, the less you are haunted by your past. Life is not just about surviving heartbreak, it's about thriving beyond it. Rule 9. Choose inner freedom over obsession. The man who is not free is the one who is controlled by pleasure, fear, and longing. Seneca. Finally, remember, obsession is a cage. Freedom is a choice. When you hold on to someone who has already left, you give them control over your spirit. The Stoics teach us that true love of self is choosing freedom. You don't need closure from them, you create closure within. You don't need their approval, you give it to yourself. Freedom begins with one decision. I will no longer let my mind be enslaved by someone who is no longer here. Say it to yourself. Write it. Live it. Heartbreak is a heavy weight, but the Stoics show us it doesn't have to break us. It can shape us. Letting go isn't forgetting. It's remembering with wisdom. It's honoring the past while choosing the present. It's trading chains for wings. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, the person you can't stop thinking about. They are not your end. They are the obstacle that will make you stronger." Take these 10 Stoic rules and practice them daily. Accept impermanence, focus on what you can control, choose freedom, live with virtue, and remember, you are more resilient than you know. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. Zeno of Citium.